think people were listening to my stories earlier about my teenage.
We'll give it some more time. We'll see how it all plays out, but I have a feeling it's gonna be you.
That's weird.
He says that's weird. I thought it was the most trustworthy.
I was going to say, I felt like, if you need a babysitter, they were going to call me.
Oh, they would definitely not call you.
Not you.
Definitely not.
My feelings are hurt.
All right. Hi, and welcome to the Y'all Ain't Right podcast. I'm Brittany. I'm here with Tyler, Nick, and Todd. And today we have our second guest, Megan. And so would you care to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, definitely. So I do social media marketing mainly. That's my niche. And I started this probably about like 2.5 years ago. I've been in marketing for many years and run multiple businesses because I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur, which is exhausting at times. But I've always kind of leaned towards marketing. I always went back to it. And I don't know, the past 2.5 years, it really just took a passion of mine and really just spreading value and free education to business owners, specifically realtors too, and loan officers, but really just found my niche and I love it. And, I even give back to the community and like business owners too. So I go to the Knoxville Entrepreneur Group, probably once a month and teach classes there. So, but yeah, my business is the brand agency. And like I said, we specifically niche in building a brand and then running social media accounts and teaching others. So I love it. It's so fun.
So I know that Todd and Tyler and a few of them, they've been to one of your multiple of your clubs. Yeah.
I've had a lot. Yeah.
And that they were always coming back and talking about we learned this, that, and the third. I hadn't even had an opportunity to go, and I feel like I've learned from your teaching. So
that's awesome. I love it. Yeah, I try to put content out there that people can learn from, on my Instagram and Facebook mainly. But I'm always open to, getting any kind of DMs. People ask me questions, taking time, doing Zoom calls, things like that. I taught dance for many years too, so I have that kind of teacher background and coach that I really love and enjoy doing. So I just love kind of giving back and then seeing other people really thrive and succeed. I give them advice and they do it and they're like, oh man, I got that lead. I'm like, that is awesome. I get so excited. So it's really one of my true passions is giving back with the business as well. So.
That's the biggest thing is just getting out and doing it. So many people are scared to do video because like we were talking about earlier, you don't like your voice. You don't like how you look. We just pick on ourselves. We're our own worst critics when it comes to that, to stopping ourselves.
Yeah, a lot of my clients are like, well, I don't like the way I look. I hate the way my voice sounds. But I think, I really work on that too. It's just kind of a confidence coach too. Just kind of really help people build the confidence and figure out a way to do it their way, right? Because I think people also get lost in the fact they're like, well, I'm not you. And I'm like, no, you're not. I'm me. I don't want you to do it like me. Let's figure out how we want to do it like you. Maybe it isn't you just talking on video. Maybe it's more B-roll. Maybe it's collaborating with people like this. There's no right or wrong way. It's your way. And so I'd really try to find the true, authentic self and them to promote themselves in marketing, because that's ultimately why people work with you, is because of who you are. So just be true to you at the end of the day.
Yeah, as far as your coaching goes, is your main focus or main objective, which piece is it? Do you kind of lean into teaching on social media, maybe monetizing there, or someone hiring you as an individual coach? What's your...
Gosh, it kind of varies, to be honest. I do find a lot of time my coaching is kind of very personal, working through things, it's almost like therapy, but it really, I'm really relationship based, with my clients. I have a true relationship with all my clients. They're really good friends of mine. And, for me to, market you and for you to hire me, I need to really know you on a really in-depth level, on a personal level, because if I'm putting stuff out there, people need to feel like, oh, that is Todd. I know Todd. Oh, it doesn't seem like someone else is running your social media. So, sometimes my coaching just talks about life. Sometimes I'm talking about budgeting with people. Hey, what is your budget? It just depends on, because there's things in your life that could possibly be holding you back from marketing yourself and building that business. So a lot of the times my coaching is talking about personal things, but also marketing, so you do get a different experience with me compared to other marketing agencies, just because I'm a business owner. I've gone through marketing agencies, and I always felt like no one really cared about my business or cared about me. I was just another transaction, like another number client. So I really try to make sure that my clients feel special and like I actually care about them and their brand and them making money, or, you know, them hitting their goals, whatever those could be. So every conversation is different. Every coaching client's different for me. So it just depends on what we're working with.
I mean, because we're our own brand. I mean, as realtors, you know, everyone's different. We have our own niches. We have our own personalities. And people see if you're not that person pretty quick, you know, especially, you know, if you're on a personal page where you're showing your day-to-day life, basically.
Yeah, and I think we're all like really perfectionistic too. Like for me, analysis paralysis is a real thing. And so when it comes to like getting started, you're your own barrier to entry. You can spend so much time looking at all the right ways to make the perfect video, edit the perfect audio, and even doing this podcast, like getting started, I told all of these guys, like, I'm going to do it because it's so far out of my comfort zone that I need to do it. And having some accountability partners here in the team pushing me really got me through. So once you start, it gets so much easier. I was telling them, like, I hate my voice, I hate myself on camera, but having done this enough now, I'm a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident, and I don't really care to just jump on the mic and go. But before, like I was telling you, I took your Instagram class twice, learned a lot of stuff, and never actually started using it. So, and it was because I just didn't want to be on camera, I didn't want to be on mic, and so even still, I'm not the best, but I've started getting a little bit more active.
I mean, that's when I first started doing videos. I was doing them when I was driving, so I wasn't, you know, taking off my glasses, because when I was doing that, I would notice I would do the same exact thing. You know, I'd take off my glasses, clean them, and I was talking, and I would like touch my like every single time. So I started doing when I was driving to point A to point B, so I didn't do the funny things with your hand and stuff like that. And you know, I got more relaxed, and it was just a more seamless video. And I would just do them live. I mean, I broke down and bawled my eyes out my first year because I started thanking the people that helped me. And, you know, I get choked up every time. And, you know, no one once said, cry baby, you know, the fear you had as a kid, you know, people were going to make fun of you. No one said anything bad. No one's come at me because of a video I've done and made a remark. Now, I think sometimes it's a little different for guys, you know, than females. You know, men are pigs and they're ignorant sometimes. But, you know,
That is
not sure what's going on behind me, but but you know, just to be afraid, you know, what people are going to think. You know, I do the videos now, jumping in my pool, and you know, my heart attack scars, you know, in full view, and no one once has, you know, said anything. So
we all know how your feet look.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I'm still not brave enough to go live. That's all you.
Live is a little scary.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother level for sure. I mean,
it's never bothered me. I don't know why. You know, that's why I started networking back forever ago. Was, you know, I could get in front of people and talk. I've never had that problem being in the restaurant business. With Ruby Tuesdays, we would do mass orientations, so we'd have 100 people. We'd rent an auditorium and get in front and talk to them about the hiring, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But I would have trouble walking into an event, you know, a social gathering, and shaking hands and kissing babies. That's why I started networking, to get over that fear, you know, because you had to every day.
hey, and let me tell you, those old marketing sales things are still so important.
Yeah.
And I tell my clients that, like, I'm a social media marketing person, right? And that's like what I'm known for, my niche. But like, I still talk to my clients about, what are you doing outside of this? Because we can't just depend on this. And I do have some people that come to me and they're like, I just depend on this social media marketing. I'm like, you can't just depend on this. You know, I still network. I still door knock. I still cold call. Like, I walk into businesses and I'm like, I would love to do your marketing. Let me tell you why. You know, like, you still need to do those things. We can't just depend on social media marketing, because we still need that human interaction and engagement and connection. And with the videos too, like, all the videos I do that are very authentic and not like edited, and I didn't hire a videographer, I show my clients like the numbers, like my views are not as high, my likes are not as high. Like the ones where I just get on video and talk, those are the ones that do good, and those are where I get my leads. It's so crazy. It's the relatable ones, the authentic ones. So we seem to overthink this, but really you just need to be yourself and do what you feel like is right, what you like to do. Like, don't be like me. Don't be like, you know, the top realtor that you follow that lives in California or whatever. Like, that's inspiration. That's cool to follow. It helps you kind of get your creativity going. But really, just do what you want to do, ultimately, is what is going to work. And I'm telling you, it's a huge difference. You'll see a huge difference in your marketing.
Oh yeah, I think that's part of the reason why I was really excited to do the podcast with 3 other people, because I, you know, whenever I don't have a strength in, like Todd is, you know, looking at it, I really don't know what my strengths are in a lot of areas. I feel like, you know, no sense of direction, not that great at technology. I don't really know, and it's like everybody kind of picks up their own piece of it and we all put it together, and it's like, you know, he handles one thing and then, you know, I handle another, and, you know, everybody's just here to listen to Tyler's accent. And
I think you have a great voice, so you're doing great.
See, I keep hearing that lately, and I'm like, this is such news to me, because I always, and part of that stems from, like you said, the whole therapist thing. So, like, I've had friends growing up that were always like, you sound like a turtle underwater, like you have the worst voice ever. And so I already had this complex.
Turtle underwater.
Yeah.
that's
like,
a new one.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Must be a Southern saying there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But so that was part of why getting on here was kind of like, let's get over that fear of being vocal publicly. Like, I don't care to stand up and speak. Like, I came from a background in the corporate world where I did a lot of like open presentations to high leadership. So like, I've done that, but it's in that room. It's not out there in the ether for everybody to
for thousands, forever and ever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I know you said, obviously you started at square one.
Yeah.
One day. It was 2.5 years ago. You started at square one. What do you think it was, and kind of when do you think it was that it just all of a sudden clicked or started to work?
Well, let me just say, and I tell all my clients this, it takes time, you know, with social media marketing. I don't guarantee any person that hires me that they're going to get leads. I'm not going to guarantee followers. I'm not going to guarantee the likes. Like, I can't do that, right? And, you know, because it takes time for me to get to know you and your brand and who you are. So, but it, you know, what I tell people is the biggest, you know, I guess when it finally clicked is when, you know, I started helping Foundation Mortgage, and, you know, that one thing that they did not do as a mortgage company, they didn't really use social media marketing. And I was like, listen, I'll come on board, but you have to do social media. Like, we have to get on there. So we got on there, and I made them push the limits. You know, I made them do things that was definitely out of the box. And there was definitely times where I went to the, you know, operations manager to like make sure that these were like, you know, by law or whatever and regulate it. And they were like, no. And I'm like, oh, are you sure? Because this one's really good, you know? So like, and we pushed the limit, and we really got out there, and you have to be consistent, you know? And unfortunately, that's just social media, and it's getting harder and harder. I will say that. But like, just showing up every day is really important. And a lot of people, you know, they start doing it and then they get disappointed because they don't get that instant gratification. We live in an instant gratification world where we want to be like, hey, we want instant like results. And that's just not how it works when it comes to any marketing, really, not even social media. So sometimes it takes a little bit of strategy and patience, because you have to get the right messaging right. You have to get the right look. So I would say with Foundation Mortgage, it took about like 9 months before we actually saw something. And then it's crazy. Once you hit that point, though, you just, boom, it just takes off. It's insane. And I will say, though, with social media, though, we did other things outside of that. So I really, really try to encourage clients, again, not to just depend on social media marketing, like still do the other things that we are supposed to do as salespeople. You know, the door knocking, the cold calling, events, networking, like you still need to do that for all this to work all together, because you can't just depend on communication through social media marketing. But once it took off, you don't have to do it as much. So it's just the beginning. You have to put a lot of work and a lot of energy into it and a lot of consistency. But even with my personal social media, I get leads off of it, and I actually don't post as much as I do anymore. Like, even my personal, I had to post a lot and tons, but now I'm like probably about 2 years out with my personal Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and I get leads like basically every week.
Oh, wow.
Just people DMing, hey, I see you do marketing. I'd love to get schedule a Zoom or a consultation. So I'm kind of to the point personally in my business where I don't even really have to sell anymore. And it does. You can get to that point, but it just takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication up front. But when you do, it's so nice because it's free.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's so great about it.
Just takes time.
Got to build that foundation.
Yeah, you got to build that foundation, that community. You know, you got to think about you're building your own network, your own community, and you have this culture that people are attracted to, and that's you. As you are the brand, you are the community leader, and they're diehards, and people just start selling you. And that's what's happened to me is that people. Now, I've given a lot of free value, as Todd knows, because he's come to my classes, and you've seen as well, Tyler, like I did a lot of that. So sometimes I do encourage my clients and coach them on like, okay, what can we do to provide free value to people, like your ideal client to then eventually come back to you. And I know that's kind of hard because you're like, oh, I'm taking all this time too. But like, I'm telling you, it works because I personally have experienced that with my business is for about a year and a half, I gave a lot of free value, you know, a lot of guidance, a lot of classes, and I still do to this day. And even like the little mom and pop shop that I took like 2 hours with and sat down and went over everything, set up their Google business page and everything that can't afford to use me. They send me clients though. Because they're like, she took the time to sit down with me and do this for me and help me build my business. So I'm a big believer on giving back to the community, and eventually that will give back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's so interesting that everything that you've been saying is just essentially be authentically yourself. And obviously you're having to put in that much post and engagement and, you know, then people meet you and they need to, it's hard to keep that up if you're not actually being yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think that's interesting because I got on ChatGPT and I said, what's the most important piece of advice for growing a business through social media? And it says it's to engage authentically with your audience. Mm-hmm. So you're right on par there. I guess you know what you're doing.
They're all my friends too. Like people, you know, it's not just marketing we talk on social. Like a lot of my people on there, like I know people on there that live in different cities and states. And I feel like they're like my best friend, which is so weird. And then I've met these people in person. I'm like, oh my gosh, we've communicated through Instagram for all these years. Now we're like friends. And it's just so cool. You can meet some really, you know, unique people. It's not all bad. There's definitely some bad to social media marketing and some of these accounts and social platforms. But really there's a lot of good. And you know, the good thing about it is you can build a really great community on there that just really loves and supports you and you really connect with. And that's what's so fun and kind of cool about it is you do meet some really, you know, cool people that go through life experiences, you know, like you opening up about your life experience, Todd, like that probably really connected with a lot of people and they reached out to you and was like, hey, I've gone through that. Like I relate to that, you know, and that's really what's so good. That's the good part about social media marketing is like we can really connect with each other through a more personal, you know, way.
Yeah. Well, I think you have a great personality for it. So
thank you. Well, I was a dancer for years, so I think that's all. My mom pushed my butt on stage even if I didn't want to. She's like, you're going to perform. So I'm used to just performing 24/7.
Well, I do have kind of a little bit of a fun question. So on the topic of social media, now, what was one of your last purchases on Facebook Marketplace?
Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah.
What was my last purchase? I thought you were going to ask about TikTok because I just recently bought something on TikTok. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. So I bought a mobile karaoke machine that you have in your car, and it comes with 2 mics. Yeah, I kind of regret that because the kids will not stop using it, but it literally is a mic. It's a speaker with like a disco ball in it, and we sing karaoke songs because me and my kids love singing Disney songs in the car. That's like our thing. I need to start recording these moments because I feel like it would do really well on TikTok because it's hilarious.
I would yell at other cars. That's my problem.
Oh, I do. I do. I'm like, please put your blinker on. I mean, it's loud too, even on the lowest volume. So TikTok gets me. I'll say TikTok gets me a lot when it comes to buying stuff. But Facebook Market, I would probably have to say, oh man, I think it was a fish tank for my husband that was for sale that I bought for him because he loves to buy fish and not take care of them.
They need more room.
Yeah. I think that was the last thing. It's been a minute though, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a toxic place. I remember back in my wireless days trying to sell a phone, and then people would try to trade you everything like I have a Rolex. Like I can tell if that's a real Rolex or not. But It's been forever. I think I bought a dust collector for my CNC.
Nice. That's random.
But that's been years ago.
You can literally find everything
Oh,
on
you
there.
can.
It's kind of like, you're really selling that?
Yeah.
Some of the stuff.
But the people on there are just weird.
Oh, yeah.
I just go there for the comments. I don't actually buy
Right?
things.
Some of them are so funny.
I like when
Yeah.
people, like, searching for people are selling mirrors to see
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
who got in or what they got in the picture, because, you know, it's like feet and
I'm pretty sure there's like entire threads. With
there is a
pictures
thread of that. I think there's
yeah.
a Reddit thread on that
Or
one.
they're like, here's this cabinet. It's new. It definitely does not look new. Like,
Or the car that's really, really good priced and it's totally somebody got hacked. And
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
heard
I
a lot
thought
of
Mr.
stories like that for sure. Or you have to meet them in the park. It's just the whole thing is kind of weird. It's like, hey, meet me at Walmart and I'll buy this thing from you. You know, it's like.
I think it was maybe Nate Bargatze was a comedian talking about, he's like, best case scenario, we get $5 and someone has our address. It's like, worst case, my family gets murdered.
Right? That's what's so terrifying. I'm like, can we meet at a gas station?
Killer Waggles.
Yeah.
Oh no. That's a throwback right
I know,
there.
it's not there anymore.
Hey, I love that Waggles. It's the best. It's probably not the safest, but
Is it
it's.
still there or is it gone? I thought it got tore down, but
The murder waggles.
Murder Waggles, yeah.
Oh gosh, I think the one downtown is also like at that level too, though.
I think I
It's
know
changed
which
a
one you're
lot.
talking about, not being in the, in the know, but I don't necessarily want to throw anyone under the bus, but yeah, it's near downtown.
I'll get canceled.
Yeah, you're probably right. I need to protect myself more. Apparently, I like to push the limit.
If you're going to get canceled, it's going to be for a lot of the other things, not
Yeah, I
that.
was gonna say.
You're giving people plenty of material.
Plenty of ammo.
Yeah.
All right, if we want to switch out to
Music chairs.
Todd and Nick.
All right, so I'm out. You're still in, dude.
And now a word from our sponsor. Interest rates have been a huge topic in the housing market for quite some time now. CMG Financial is running a program called Rate Rebound. That way you can buy now and refinance anytime in the next 5 years when interest rates drop for little to no cost. Call or text YARPOD to Norma White with CMG Financial to learn more at 865-898-5000. Tell her YARPOD sent you.
All right, are we ready?
We're ready, Freddie.
Let's go.
Ready.
Okay, are there any trends or challenges or anything like that that you have participated in?
Oh gosh. Yeah, constantly, like every day.
Yeah.
Well, the trends change so much, especially on TikTok. Man, it's so hard to keep up with that platform. It's like every day something else is trending. I would say that's probably the hardest platform for me to keep up with. And any marketing content creator will tell you that. But everyone has their platform too, which is so interesting to me. Like, what do you guys usually go to when you open up your phone? Like, which platform do you immediately go to? Facebook, Instagram?
I'm Facebook,
None of them?
Instagram.
I'm not huge on, like, I'm not good at participating in social media a lot. So I will say if I'm going to like a platform, it's Pinterest, and that's not exactly like super
Interesting. I
social
love
media.
that.
But everything is food for me and recipes. So I go on Pinterest, and that's where I find food. I think maybe my secondary would be TikTok. I have like 3 or 4 that I really like to go to for recipes.
Okay.
And so that's where I go.
Food is a niche.
That's
People love food.
I just started.
And they love watching food videos.
Because I was like, you know what? I'm cooking every night anyway. Because
You
I
should
enjoy
incorporate
it.
that. You should incorporate that into like what you do. Like there's a way of like taking your hobbies and stuff and like selling your business and promoting your business without doing it, but using what you like to do, if that makes sense. So sometimes I'll have clients do that. Like if
I've
they're a gardener,
attempted.
they're the real estate gardener.
Oh, she tried that.
I've attempted. So I did start a couple of pages just for my recipe stuff, and so I've been just recently kind of taking it a little bit more seriously and trying to be a little bit more consistent. And because I enjoy putting it out, and I like to maybe teach people something, or they could use my recipe because that's how I get mine. So I just recently started doing it, and so I'm learning. So the things that you're saying, I'm like, yeah, I totally hear you.
I always say if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. Truly.
That's right.
I'm the old timer, so I'm Facebook first, and then Instagram and LinkedIn.
Wow.
LinkedIn.
Just throw it out.
I love how you threw LinkedIn there at the
I can't
last,
keep
you
up.
know.
I can't keep up with TikTok. I don't get on there very
Same.
much. It's
No, I
just-
do Instagram. Like, that's about the only thing. And then I do TikTok through my wife. So she's always sending me, like, watch this, watch this, watch this. I'm like, I don't.
It's secondhand TikTok.
Just show it to me. I'm like,
Just show it to me.
I feel like I overshare on Instagram, Tyler, and
You keep me in the loop.
yeah, I was gonna say I keep.
do you mean by
I send
overshare?
stuff all the time to him.
Todd's our social media and kind of guy.
How did
and
that happen though? I'm the freaking oldest.
I know. I'm the only one still in my 20s here.
Some of us just got it.
and I'm the
most
most removed from it.
The
But
most hip, yeah.
and then
I don't know about
Tyler and Todd are the Tyler
he's gonna
and
get
Nick
shadow banned from.
are the technology guys.
Yeah, I guess.
You know
I
a
was
little
gonna say
bit
his
about
face
a lot.
says otherwise.
I know a
He's
little
like-
bit about a lot.
And you're
I'll
Mr.
take it.
Research, and so is he.
I'll
Like
take it.
you're a dad researcher through and through.
Dad researcher?
Oh yeah, like
Hey, that's a
I watched a
niche.
YouTube video.
Well, that's true.
Hey,
true.
YouTube is gold too.
I would say that's
is-
probably my favorite. To me, it's like up there with Pinterest as like the least kind of social media. When you think of social media, it's not like you can't just go on YouTube and just post. I mean, you can. You have like a little community page, and now they got shorts, which I guess is kind of like Reels and TikToks. But I mean, if I was to choose one, it'd be YouTube.
I need to do more
That's
with
true.
Go
I
back
like
to
it.
my YouTube, but I was over. I don't want to say over editing. I was doing green screen and dropping stuff in the back and editing, and I need to just do videos. And
You know, the
not-
thing about
not do
YouTube
all
too
that.
is like I know people that kill it on YouTube and they don't do much. You really don't need. Again, it's every platform. You just overthink it. People overthink it. You don't need some glamorous background or whatever. Just get on there. It's really what you're talking about is what matters on YouTube. It's not even like necessarily the look. If you see a lot of YouTubers that are famous or successful, they started out by just like holding the camera up and like talking. But people love it. Like as long as the information is good and it's catchy in the hook, like on all these platforms, it doesn't matter. It's the information, really, is what you're talking about is what matters more than just like the look. I've spent hundreds of dollars on production and videography and hair and makeup and all these things, and like they just don't do good. Rather than me just holding the camera up and talking into it, just like Todd, same thing.
I spent a lot of my hair.
Yeah, obviously. Gotta get that
Oh,
nice
Lord.
shine,
I think YouTube is probably where I would like to grow the most because it is easier to keep up with. TikTok moves so quickly, and I think I would like to just, be myself. I'm not a person that keeps up with trendy things, and so, yeah, I think YouTube's the one where I'm wanting to focus on and like try to grow with. So yeah, and we watch. Because that's also something that I like to consume, so that's why I want to put it on there.
Oh, everyone, even kids go to YouTube. We need to like see what our kids are doing. Like they go to YouTube to watch videos. I mean, my kids go straight to YouTube to look up videos.
I'm afraid
and watch
to look
other
at the
kids.
history, though. Like, that's what gets me. Is it's like
What does that mean?
the more and more I think about it, I'm like, my 9-year-old is sitting there on YouTube, for the most part, like unregulated.
I should not be allowed unregulated, but
No.
I've used it so much just to learn how to fix stuff. I mean,
You can literally
yeah.
That's what I love
search
about it.
anything to fix
Yeah.
on YouTube.
I mean-
Someone, and these people have made so much money on that, dude. I mean, these kids too. The kids making videos where the parents just follow the kids around and they just pretend to be Spider-Man and
There's
Blippi
that,
and stuff. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? I'm gonna
Oh,
get a
I know.
Spider-Man costume and hop around the house
There's
and
that
have my
one
kids be a part of it.
Ryan's World or something.
Yes, my
It
kids
drives
love.
me crazy to see that.
They love
but
him.
Yeah, they love him.
And now he's got toys at Target and everything. I'm like, what are we doing
Oh,
with
yeah,
our
he's
life?
made-
Yeah.
Todd, you could have your own like toy line at Target.
could.
It'd be a little creepy, but you could do it.
Little creepy.
Yeah, I just feel
It
like
would be a little creepy doll.
I feel like I'm going to get canceled again. I like the guy that does all the editing with his kid, that does it like, makes him a superhero and puts him in
That's-
precarious
that's a little
places
different.
and stuff like
I
that.
don't mind that because it's
Oh
like,
yeah, that is cute.
Yeah,
I've
kind of
seen that
interacting
one.
together.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you get that family vibe, but the Ryan's World thing kind of freaks me out. Because I mean, that kid, like, he's front and center, and there's like nobody else.
Yeah.
And he's just, it's
He
kind of
has
like,
siblings though too, I think.
so.
But you don't
Yeah.
really see them. But yeah.
and it's like they just kind of put a camera up in the corner, and he's just sitting there playing.
Well, that's the thing. People are
This
so
is kinda
curious
weird.
about your life. You know,
Yeah.
like it's so crazy. Like the more you show, the more like you do better. Like, you know, especially when it comes to any social media platforms, because people are so nosy. They want to know like your personal business and like what goes behind the scenes. And that's why like behind the scenes stuff does so well in businesses.
Yeah.
And I tell realtors, I'm like, don't just talk about real estate. Show us like what you do. That's what people want to see is the dirty stuff. You know, you getting out of the car, switching your, you know, heels into tennis shoes, or you on the floor scrubbing the floor because, you know, you have to clean it because cleaners didn't show up. Like that's the stuff that people want to see when it comes to like real estate. Again, we kind of overthink it. And I tell agents too, like, if you're tired of posting about real estate, then don't post about real estate. You know, we don't want to see it either. You know, like we want to see different things. You know, we want to get to know you and learn about like the area. I always tell agents, talk about the real estate around the real estate, you know, not just the house. Sometimes we focus so much on the house when we need to focus about like the coffee shop down the street from the house, you know, the area, the park down the street, you know, local business or something like that, you know, kind of become like the go-to expert once you find that area that you want to niche in, you know, which I highly recommend, but it's not a must. But I would say with realtors, those clients I work with, I do try to get them to niche down to an area, you know, because if you can niche down in marketing, it is easier and faster to get to actually getting leads than just being like, here's a big old net and I work with all of y'all, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, that is such a huge factor of why people choose where they're going to live. It might be the school system, it might be the, you know, we came to this part of Tennessee because it has all these rock climbing gyms, or maybe we want to live close to downtown because we like that scene and
Rock climbing gyms.
So yeah, I have a few interests, and that's why I was excited to
That's
come to
oddly specific.
Knoxville from Johnson City, because Knoxville is like a bigger Johnson City, and everybody from Johnson City moves to Knoxville. And at first, I mean, I'm feeling like homesick and stuff, but then I'm like, oh, well, I don't have to travel 45 minutes to find a rock climbing gym. Oh, they've got hot yoga 15 minutes away. Like, there was all kinds of things to do that I didn't have in my town. And I'm like, I really like it here. Like, there's a UT baseball and football, and there's always something to do.
That's what I'll give Knoxville, is they've got the University of Tennessee. So that's a huge deal. But it's funny you say that, because that always, it's a little theory of mine that everyone just kind of hates their hometown, like eventually, because you've done everything. So it's like, you know, I've lived in Knoxville my entire life, and I can tell you right now, it's like I feel like Knoxville has nothing to do, even though we have tons of stuff to do. But it's just that mentality of, I feel like I've done it all. And then you could name something that I've probably never heard of, and I hadn't done it. But it's just like, for some reason, I just feel like Knoxville has nothing.
I feel like I'm always
do.
finding something new too, which is so crazy. Because
It's
I'm born
weird.
and raised here, and they're like, "Hey, have you been to this place or ate at this restaurant?" I'm like, "What restaurant?"
Yeah,
That
I
place
mean, my
exists?
kids started talking about this place, Secret City. I'm like, what is that? Never heard of that.
Secret City.
And then he like showed it to me, and I was like, this is okay. We're gonna do this, because it's like this little miniature town that they built that literally looks like Knoxville, and they can ride around on like
I've heard of
tricycles and
this.
bicycles and scooters and
Yes.
stuff. And you got to wear a helmet, but other than that, it's like literally you can go into a miniature stadium down at UT campus and stuff like that.
What? A
Yeah.
miniature stadium? That
And
is so
it's-
cool.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, and it's super
They ride their bikes.
condensed,
And
but
safety
yeah.
city. Safety city.
Or that, yeah.
I was gonna
sorry,
say, I
Safety City. What did I say? Secret City. Yeah, right, that's
Oak Ridge.
Knoxville.
And that was
building
also,
Secret
that's where I was
City.
like, wait a minute, we're talking about Oak Ridge?
Yeah.
Secret
Safety
City.
City. Safety City.
I'm the one that has no kids, and I knew the name.
Well, see, that's
Well,
what I'm talking about.
I think
So
it's
you're
kind
the
of
local
funny.
expert.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't think there's anything to do, when at the same time, every time we try to go somewhere new, we're like, Nick, over here, come on, let's go.
That's
Come
what I'm
on,
saying.
Nick, let's go.
Like, I feel like
He
if I
doesn't
wasn't
ever-
born and raised here, like I'd feel a little differently. But it's
Yeah.
because when I, you know, being the old man that I am, in the 80s growing up, it was like there was very little compared to now. Now it's just kind of like sensory overload to
I agree
some
with that.
degree. Yeah, I mean, it's just
I
there's
agree with
stuff
that.
everywhere, which I don't mind. But it's like you were saying, I constantly feel like we're finding something new to do. that I had no idea was here. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, it's been here for like 10, 15 years.
See, there's so
I'm
much.
like,
See,
what?
the marketing person, like mind of mine, is like, see, there's so much content that needs to be made
Yeah.
because, like, there's so much opportunity, especially for realtors, to really get that information out there. Like, if you are up to date on what's happening, what's up and coming, and what's new, like, that's what people love to know. You know, you need to be the person that knows everything, like the right plumber, the best restaurants, the best coffee shops. You know, that kind of helps start conversations with new potential clients, but also past clients. You know, so if you guys do content like that, which is fun for you, like, isn't that way more fun than doing a listing video? I think so.
Oh,
like, I get worn
absolutely.
out by doing them. I love them. I did one last week. I'm doing one this week with the client. But I love when I'm like, hey, do you want to go like showcase your favorite bar and like what your favorite, you know, drink is at that bar? Because that's super fun.
Yeah,
you know?
that I don't mind doing.
And that's what we did. We actually did that last week or the week before. And we just
The
took like a
space bar,
little,
right?
yeah, we
Yeah.
took a little video, and we had so many people just like saving it and sending it, and like
People don't
there's
know that
something to
place
do.
exists.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
why.
Well, it's
I had
you could
no
literally
idea.
walk right past it and miss it.
yeah.
I had been to Bitburger before because I was just there in passing, and I was like, a burger joint. I have to try this. But then Todd's like, yeah, why don't we do Space Bar? Or you were talking about the time you went to Space
We
Bar.
went
and I
Space
was
Bar the
like,
week before.
What is that? And he's like, oh, it's this place that you go in and it's like all black lighted out, and you know it's just very futuristic. Even the hosts and waitress and bar staff, they're all in character the entire time, and it's just I'm like, what the hell are we doing? You know, like we have to try this out.
See, and then eventually you guys could do like your podcast live at some of these places.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
okay. See, now my marketing mind is just going.
So here she goes.
Here we go. Like once
Should
it
we be
goes,
paying you?
yeah, no. Like you can I'll just help. Like I love what you guys are doing and what you're creating with this podcast, and I love that it's like several of you involved because that's so fun, and it really does make it more engaging and exciting. I feel like for listeners and for you guys too.
Yeah, I was going to ask you on that topic of places to go and whatever. What's like maybe a restaurant or a bar that you've been to and you're like, not enough people know about this, like either the food or the experience or whatever that just like blew you away?
Gosh, that's a good question. I mean, I have my go-tos, which I like feel like I need to break out, you know?
Yeah.
And I really try to support like local business owners and like restaurants and stuff. You know, I have a good relationship with Dan at Point B. I think he's great. I love his staff. Like, I feel like I know everyone in there and it's like family. So I tend to go there just because it's like right in the middle of West Knoxville. I feel like that location is just so primed. Plenty of parking, big on the parking, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so I would say that obviously like K-Brew and Honeybee, they're local business owners. You know, Norris, Pierce, they're great. I love supporting them and going there. Yeah, I mean, I really try to, even like the restaurants I try to go to, like, you know, as much local as I can if it is, you know. Obviously, a lot are downtown, though. I feel like a lot of the restaurants are downtown, you know, like local-wise. But, yeah, I think those are a couple of mine, you know. It's like, I can't think of, I feel like I need to explore more because people tell me places to go, and I'm like, I've never, like, again, it goes back to, like, I never even heard or didn't even know that existed. So, like, I just found out yesterday that Cruz Dairy Farm has a pizza barn, and it was delicious.
I saw that post. It looks good.
I saw that too, and I was like, I've been to Cruise Farm. How did I not know?
It's the East location. They have their ice cream, you know, shop, and then they have a drive-through. First of all, so you can go there to pick up
I
ice
knew they
cream.
had the ice cream place, but they have.
But you don't have to go inside. You have to. You can sit in your. I'm a mom. I'm like, you can sit in your car with the screaming kids in the back and pick up ice cream. Like that's nice. But then they have the pizza barn, which they're doing some construction on right now. But you still can go in there and get it. But like, it's so good, and they make their own ranch, guys.
Oh,
They
that's,
Love it.
that's the key.
They make
You
their
make
own
your
ranch
own ranch,
dressing.
you're doing it right.
I bought it yesterday, and then you can take the bottle back to get refills for $5. Best ranch dressing. Aubrey's, I'm sorry, like you have good ranch dressing, but whew, Cruise.
That's when you know you found a good place, when they are willing to sell the ranch by the bottle.
I know, right?
Because
That's when you know.
That's a key. That's a key. You know, it's like Chick-fil-A selling their sauces. Like I'm fine with Chick-fil-A sauces, but if you find a good ranch, that's a game changer. Or for me, also honey mustard, which is a little tougher.
It is hard to
is.
find a good
Yeah,
one.
there's different types of honey mustards. So you know, it's very picky on some things, but a good ranch is hard to beat.
Why am I hungry?
Right? And I'm like,
we're talking
Chick-fil-A
about
sauce
food.
and ranch.
It's always
Homemade
going to
ranch.
come back to food. If
It always
it's
does
up
for
to
me.
Yeah, so what do you think, have you noticed a specific age group that is the most reluctant to, I don't know, embrace like your coaching and, you know, really get on social media and really embrace that? Is there a certain age group that's like, you know?
Oh my gosh, I have clients all over the spectrum. Again, it's like I work with such a huge diversity of people. You know, I mean, I have clients that are, you know, in their 50s, going their 60s that are on it, you know, and love it. And then I have 20-year-olds who absolutely hate it and have never been on social media, which is crazy to me. I'm like, you're 20 and you don't even know what, you don't know how to use
That doesn't make
Instagram?
any sense.
Yeah, like I started looking for an assistant or, and I was interviewing some girls and they're like, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm going to college, going for marketing, but I've never really used social media. I'm like, what? You know? And so, I mean,
You're kind of doing something wrong.
I know, right?
It's like that's not right.
Do you think they're being just anti, you know, establishment? You know?
I don't know. Like when I talk to them, it's not even really that. It's just like, I guess they've never really gotten into it. But then I'm like, oh my God, I'm 34 and I'm so
I don't
into
understand
this.
that. Yeah.
Well, I'm 50 something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, you know,
Sure there's not a
I remember
woman
Facebook, I mean, or MySpace.
But yeah, I mean, every person's
everybody
different.
was friends with Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone was MySpace, my top 5 friends.
Oh man,
I can still log into my.
remember
hurt
that
so many
in high
feelings.
school. Yeah, I was gonna say in high school that was like if you were in someone's top 5, you repped that.
Then
proudly.
they had the thing where you could randomize. So every time you went to the page, it was the same top 5, but it wasn't, number 1 wasn't always number 1. I liked when they brought that in so
I
that
left
you
it
didn't have to
ranked.
pick favorites.
I left it ranked.
Yes, I
See, I
left
don't
it
remember
ranked
that
too.
part.
I'm like with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people knew. People knew. I'm
These are
that's-
my top
Yeah,
5.
that's my dude right there. Yeah, 100%.
See,
And
that's why.
I remember when you were in well, you probably don't remember. I know you don't. You probably do. But when Facebook first launched, you know, you had to be a college student. You had to have a
See, I don't not remember that.
.edu email address.
I watched that in a movie.
I remember
That's why
that.
I know.
Yeah. And
Yep.
I remember signing up for it, and I was like, "This is kind of cool," because it was
This is
just
kinda
It was just a
cool.
way for like college kids to connect outside of, you know, sitting there in class or skipping class and doing stuff like that. But and then I kind of thought to myself, I was like, "This isn't going to work though if it's just college kids."
Is there a documentary on like how social media started? Like taking it back?
I don't know if it was like
Should we
a
make one?
documentary. I'm always
That'd be
on
kind of
board.
cool. There was that movie with what was the Social Network?
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Where it was basically the Mark Zuckerberg story.
Zuckerberg.
Where
Yeah,
he
I like
basically
that
they talk
definition.
about
stole it and
Napster and
yeah,
they talk about I think that's where I found out that it was just college students.
I think that's the only thing I've really seen that's.
I'm sure there's
true,
something
kind
out
of.
there in the.
I'm sure there is, but I'm like, if that's not.
I know
then-
Netflix hadn't done anything. That's my documentary source.
I love documentaries.
Yeah,
They're
documentaries
awesome.
are good. Mm-hmm. My wife is watching the Evil Genius documentary right now.
Huh.
It's about some bank heist and murder scheme, and you know, we're into some weird stuff.
I like that. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you know, we watched. What was the other one? I can't remember, but the Murdaugh murders.
Oh, I've heard that one's good.
That one was
Yeah.
really good. Although they just released a movie, which I think that's taken a little too far. Is like releasing an actual movie about the whole thing, like a biopic, I guess you would say. But the documentary was good.
It's not been enough time yet.
I know it seems a little too.
But at the same time, it's like, well, it's kind of
fresh on people's
I forget
minds.
the actor's name, but the guy that was the president from Independence Day
I did see that.
is playing Daddy Murdaugh. It's just weird. It's just kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I'm good. I'm good with a good documentary. But I think a social media documentary would be pretty cool because I honestly don't know anything about the history of MySpace, but I used it constantly.
Right.
Like it just kind of came out of nowhere. It just was there.
I know.
It
That's
was
how I
like
felt
everyone's
like.
signing up.
It's
No one
groundbreaking.
talks about Tom or about that anymore. That was
Nope.
like the first real platform.
I think so. I mean, everyone said there was one other one before that, but I do not remember it.
You never want to be first.
It's
First
true.
viral one.
So
Maybe.
what are we talking
Kind-
about?
That's
Well,
why
just
we try to
first.
tell you.
I was like, what were we?
First, because usually
That's a very
it
loaded question
evolves
or
and
statement.
you know it peaks, and then somebody comes along and basically does the same idea but does it a little bit better. and then everyone
Okay,
jumps
yeah, I
on
get that.
board. You know,
That
it's
is
almost
definitely
always-
social media too.
yeah.
It's like, I feel like that's what happened when I was, when I started with Foundation, we started doing things, and then other mortgage companies kind of started doing what we did. And it's like, oh gosh, I have to.
Yeah.
So it's like, once, like you said,
Gotta
if you're
step it
the
up.
first, you have to constantly be changing. So it's like, now I constantly have to be staying ahead to make sure we're different, because then people caught on, and now they just like follow and copy. But same with my personal. So yeah, it's like what, Todd said, it's like, it's not the best to honestly be the first.
How would
but-
you classify that? Like, as far as the social medias go, would it be like, I guess, MySpace and Facebook? Facebook kind of won out because it was second.
Well, they all have their little bit of a niche. I mean, look at X. I mean, I get on
So
there.
that's
and,
what I'm wondering,
And
like,
I
what
can't
was X?
keep up with X.
What was
like-
MySpace to Facebook?
Maybe
like X was
AIM
to
kind of chat rooms,
something
maybe.
like that.
I know.
Because
See,
they're
the
all kinda
transition, I'm
unique.
like, kind of like, how did that happen?
Because
Yeah.
to me, it's like YouTube and Instagram. Now Instagram's become more reel heavy.
Well, that was
Then,
like
That was
Vine,
TikTok.
Well, just like
and
radio.
Then
TikTok
Instagram
changed it.
knocked Vine out.
Oh, I forgot about
Vine.
Vine.
I
Oh
I mean, just
my
like
God.
radio.
See, I didn't even get into that,
Radio
but-
went to TV.
Vines were so good.
Just that kind of progression. I mean,
I miss Vines a lot.
yeah.
That was like the.
Well,
I
kind of
never
Reddit.
got into that.
It was like the
Yeah, I never got
meme.
into
It was
it.
kind of like the meme trolley kind of social media. It was just a bunch of people doing comedy for the most part.
And they were even more. I feel like they were even shorter than TikTok.
Oh, they were.
Because TikToks have gone a little bit more long form. Vine was just like
Most
"An
Vines were like.
avocado, thanks.
Yeah,
And
most of
then-
them were like 5 to 10 seconds long.
Yeah.
They were like very small snippets. And then I remember they would actually like release multiple Vines in a row to kind of build like that story that we
Yeah.
now see on like Facebook, where you've got like, a long story that kind of pieces together, but none of them were very long. I mean, I think the longest Vine was towards the end of Vine's lifetime. I remember seeing one that was like a couple minutes long. And I thought, wow, that's a really,
Wow.
really long Vine. But now it's like I see people post Facebook stories that are like 10 sections of the story long, and each one's like 5 minutes, and I'm like, this is like an hour long. I'm not gonna sit here and watch this. Like, I just cannot do that. But yeah, I'm kind of anti-social media though. I'm weird like that.
Everyone has their platform, though. It really goes back to that. Like, whenever clients are like, which platform should I do, or which one? I'm like, well, which one? That's why I asked you, like, when you open your phone, which one do you go to? Like, do you go to
Instagram would be,
Facebook?
like,
Do you
the
go
first one.
then focus on that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like Todd, I'm a big Facebooker and Instagram. I kind of got into TikTok, but it's just so hard to keep up with. But like, I have people that love TikTok. I have clients that love it because, they just love the style of it, because it is different, the content, what you put on TikTok compared to Instagram.
To me, it's
I
like
know.
TikTok forces it down your throat. Like, it's just like the videos just keep coming.
Well, you have to
And it's-
post a lot too on TikTok to keep in front of people,
And my
it's
algorithm's messed up too, because I've got my wife's stuff that she sends me, and then I've got like food.
Oh, it's
And the
confused
food- the
right now
food is
for
all-
sure.
Oh, it is. The food is all me.
It doesn't know what to do.
Like, I watch the quick recipes, like, you got to try this, or here's a little kitchen hack. I'll watch that, and then my wife's sending me like this dance video of like, a mashup.
What was that move again?
Yeah, it's like this mashup thing of like 3 or 4 different songs and hip artists, and it's got like the weird. I don't know.
So thankfully the dancing stuff's out, which is good.
Oh, yeah, thank
I'm
God.
sure everyone's really.
I've never
Todd,
even
did you
tried.
try?
No, because I can't memorize anything, and if I would even try to, it would be, it'd be horrible.
My secret kind of like Instagram find that when I go down the rabbit hole that I really love is the dance videos of the people that are doing like the new design dances.
Yeah.
Where they're like floating.
Yeah.
Like, as they're like, it's just really cool, some of the movements people come up with. So, it's like, to me, it's like looking for the new moonwalk. I like watching it. But I'm a dance nut. My mom was a big dancer, so
You're so
Really?
entertaining.
yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, I danced for years.
Yeah, so I grew up on
Years.
Michael Jackson and just dancing to every one of his choreographs, like to a T. I mean, that's what I think I did for 2nd or 3rd grade talent show.
Oh my god.
Okay, so we are going to see dance.
I was gonna
videos
say,
from
do
you
we have
then.
videos
I'm
of
sure
that?
my mom's got them, yeah, like tap dancing and all sorts of stuff.
You tap dance?
Not like any kind of long-term capacity, but she was like
You
no
were
no
amateur-
classes.
amateur tap dancer?
Yeah, and my mom had tap shoes for us, and we would she'd put them on and teach us stuff because that's what she did. So it was like I'm sure there's videos out there of that.
If
Oh, we need
Nick's
to see
mom is
that.
listening to this, please post on Facebook and tag YarPod.
Oh, you need to go look at her Facebook. She
You
posts
definitely need to post those
all
videos on the
time.
Facebook page. We all need
Yeah.
to see this.
I was pretty good.
Oh He's like,
That's
I'm
pretty
pretty, I'm pretty good, guys.
I'm glad no
pretty
one can
talented.
take that from you. That's
Oh,
awesome.
no.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we've got the videos stashed, like just rows of them. Old home videos.
I will pay money to mom.
I'll get them digitized and then I'll post them. I don't. That's the one thing about me. I don't use a
You
lot
might
of
go
social
viral.
media,
You
but
never
I don't
know.
really care either.
If
Like,
anything's going to put us on the map, it's not going to be Todd's feet. It's going to be Nick's dance videos.
I could see that.
We could
I
do
could
a
see that.
stitch with the old and the new.
Oh, I could try and do them now.
Yeah.
Like 200 pounds heavier
Yep.
and 38 instead of 8.
We'll
Okay,
get you
I
some
got you.
tech shoes.
38 instead of 8.
Yeah, we'll see how that works.
Todd can
I'd be
recommend a
down
good
for that.
doctor if you break anything.
Yeah, that's true. Got a good
Mine are
orthopedic man.
cardiologists, so I don't think you want my doctor.
No, I wouldn't want that. I would
You
say
know
maybe
what?
an ortho.
It's been so long since I've seen an ortho, so.
Well, okay. I'm not gonna use Todd then.
All right, if we want to pause there for a very quick second.
Hey y'all, this is Tyler with your real estate tip of the day. When you're prepping to list your house for sale, everyone knows the inside should be clean, decluttered, and presentable. I mean, you're going to have professional photos done. A lot of people are going to come and visit. Everyone's going to see it. But did you ever consider that curb appeal? The exterior is the first thing any buyer is going to see, so you best be sure that you make it shine. Trim the bushes, add fresh mulch, knock down the spider webs around the windows, and for God's sakes, mow the dang lawn. Putting all of that weekend's work into that yard, it's going to go a long way towards impressing a buyer. And as always, if y'all have any other real estate related questions or topics you'd like us to cover, shoot us an email over at holler@yarpod.com.
Okay, so just to finish up, we're all real estate agents, so I have to ask you on a hot take about around the house. So are you a toilet paper roll over or under?
Oh, I'm over.
Do you feel strongly about this?
Very strongly.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I will change it.
I do it all the time. I have to change it.
I
You're
have
an
to.
over? Yeah.
100%. It has to be over.
Tyler?
Oh, definitely over.
Does anybody do it under? I mean,
It looks like Todd is raising his hand in the back there.
I really don't care, so being the single one out of the group, I would probably be the minority.
Well, I've never cared one way or another. And I was living with me. So my husband and I lived in an apartment before we moved into our house. And I think this was after we had lived at the apartment. So, I mean, we had been together for a few years at this point. And I'm just, I sometimes over, sometimes under. I'm like, whatever. And he had never said anything. And he's like kind of a particular guy. So I was just living under this impression that we were some of the only people on the planet that just didn't care either way. And I was like, how cool is that we just found each other? And then I think I asked him one day, or maybe he said something, and he was like, no, I want it over. And I was like, you never said anything? I had no idea. So now I do over just to appease him. But I always I was lucky if I even put it on the roll at all half the time, and it'd just be over.
Oh, you're one of those.
Like
people.
on the
Don't put it.
counter.
So when you leave the bathroom, you don't you don't put more toilet paper back on it?
No.
Oh, man, that kills me.
being over is the only way. I mean, I'm just blown away.
Are you, I'm done, I'm going to leave an empty roll there, pull a new one out, and it's just sitting there?
Yes.
Oh, I can't do
That's
it.
the worst. That's
I
even
can't
worse
do
that you
it.
put it there. You
Yeah.
like,
If you put it under,
don't even take it out.
it can fall down freely. Like, you
I don't-
do understand.
I don't like it.
I don't understand. And I don't know. I think
just-
I've had friends tell me I'm like a bachelor at heart. I don't know.
That's just so weird to me.
This is like one of the great debates, too. Like, you see, like, people get mad over this.
It's
Yeah,
like
this
a
is a good
question
one.
you should be asking someone before considering them as roommate material.
Absolutely. I think that should be on there on the interview for sure.
Top of the
I have
list.
seen the patent, and the patent is over on
Well,
a toilet paper roll holder.
It's because it catches itself. If you put it under, and you pull a little too hard, it just keeps going.
Yeah. She
That,
says.
that would not
I just
be
can't
okay.
get over that you put it on the counter and you don't put it on there.
I am proud
can't.
of. I'm just
That
proud
has
of the
that
fact
has ruined
that it's on
my days
something.
sometimes. Like when I go to the bathroom, I'm like, just put me in a mood.
I don't
Same.
even know if I had a toilet paper holder in one of my apartments. It was like one that wasn't on the wall, but I never bought a standing thing. It was just like on the counter.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I'm like,
What?
I don't care.
If you don't have a place for it,
you
maybe.
gotta reach it.
My counter was like right next to it.
Okay.
But yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, you're like, okay, here we go. We're gonna do the walk.
Well, I've got
The
Everyone does the
Every
everyone's
time.
done the waddle before.
Oh, we all have. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what about using the same towel for multiple showers, or are you a new towel every?
The older I'm getting, for some reason, I'm like, I want newer towels. Now,
There's
my
a-
kids, I let them use it over and over again. But for myself,
there's a limit.
there's a limit for me. Like, I would probably say like 2 showers. And then I'm
Okay.
like, probably should change that. That is very interesting, though.
There's a limit. It also depends on. Well, no, that wouldn't make sense. I've always thought that, but I guess that doesn't make sense. It depends on how disgusting you were before you got in the shower.
Right,
But
yeah.
But you're cleaning, so when you're getting out, I guess it doesn't really matter at that point.
Yeah.
Because you're clean.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was always like a one and done. Like I was so like washcloths or towel, one and done. I used to drive my stepdad crazy because he's all energy
So much
efficient.
laundry, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
you would have to do like towels. Like if you've got a family of like 4, you're doing towels every day.
And there were 4 of us, so he was always
You're switching
yelling.
them out every day.
He was.
That's what I'm saying.
He's like, you're clean when you get out of the shower. Use it 2 or 3 times. Now I do use it 2 or 3 times because I'm the one paying the bill. But
It's different now.
And it's more convenient. Like I don't have to go and get another towel every single time. I've got a spot for my towel, and then there it is when I get out of the shower. So
I mean, especially if you have a family, like,
Yeah.
I totally get it. Like, it is, I mean, towels take up the most space, too, when you're doing laundry.
When you don't
like,
have unlimited towels, so it's like at some point you gotta conserve a little bit because I don't want to do laundry every day, even though we do, but I don't want to add a load of towels because, like you were saying, it's the worst load to do. It's the easiest, but it's also the worst.
Yeah.
That is like the biggest complaint I get we have an Airbnb on Norris, and like we always get that complaint, like there's not enough towels. So I think people do like
Yeah.
not want to use them as much because like we do get that
guess.
complaint.
I don't know. Towels are expensive.
I don't know.
Yeah, they are.
They're insane.
I'm lazy.
Good towel.
I'm energy efficient. I'll use the same towel for like months.
Wait, what?
Wait,
What?
months?
I also don't really towel dry. I air dry. I don't like to take the time to just pat my I'm a like sensory kind of person. I'm like, I don't like the patting on the skin and the
This
And
is
so the-
coming from the same person who's like, I lay just no towel, wet, bare skin in the sand and love it.
yeah, and then I'll go get like in the bed and just have sand in the bed and
No, absolutely not.
No, psychopath.
Absolutely not. I hate that so much.
Psychopath.
You what? You put sand in the bed?
well, I mean, we used to go hang out at the river a lot, or if we go on a beach trip or something like that. And meanwhile, like people like my husband or whoever is just like super like taking a shower and rinsing off and all this kind of stuff
Absolutely.
and like whatever. And I'm like halfway rinsing off down at the beach and then I'm good. Like I don't mind sand in the bed. It doesn't
Oh,
bother
no.
me.
You're sleeping on sandpaper.
Yeah. That's
I can't. It's like every time we do these episodes, I find out more things
Our
that I
little
just.
Right, little hippie, yeah.
Yeah. That no. You don't put sand in the bed.
At this point, I shouldn't even be surprised. If any of our listeners have listened to all of the other episodes, they're probably not surprised either.
But anyway, I think that's a good place to end it, perhaps. Thank
Ending
you
on a high note.
On a sandy
Thank
bed.
you so much for joining us. Truly, you've been amazing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys. Thanks for having me.
See ya.
We're out.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. If you or someone you know is thinking about buying or selling real estate in East Tennessee, email us at holler@yarpod.com. You can also reach Brittany Hawkins at 423-270-9572, Todd Huber at 865-456-0101, Tyler Letner at 865-816-0076, and Nick Cantey at 865-250-5167. Our office at Wallace Real Estate can be reached at 865-584-4000. Make sure to ask for YARPod. See y'all next week.